Hello everyone. Today I'll be talking about social policy and welfare state, which is in continuation of my previous lecture where I had given a conceptual clarity related to welfare state, what are the major aspect of welfare state, the emergence of welfare state, and since I have already spoken about in my previous lectures, if you had gone through those previous lectures where I had also spoken in length and breadth about social policy. So now social policy and welfare state, that how they are interconnected, what is the integration, and through the idea or through the mechanism of welfare state, how social policies are being formulated and implemented. So it just give you a viewpoint that a perspective that how social policies can be integrated and they can be implemented effectively, and how these two terms are important for any society, for any country to progress and to grow. So here we begin with this lecture, that is social policy and welfare state. Social policy and welfare state are closely interconnected and interwoven, with social policy essentially providing a base, that framework which would guide the welfare state structures, objectives, and implementation. And as we all know, that social policy, it encompasses the guidelines, the principles, legislations that governments use to address any kind of issues, any kind of social issues, social problems, to meet the citizens' needs, such as healthcare, education, employment, and income security, housing, infrastructure development, environmental protection. So in a way, it encompasses every aspect of social, economic, and political life. The welfare state, in turn, is a system through which these policies are enacted to ensure a safety net and promote social equity and economic stability. So through it's become in the previous lecture, it has become very evident that what welfare state is and how it is helping policies to be enacted and to be implemented and to be functioning all over. So as I mentioned earlier, that these policies, they are enacted or they come to the flow with through the mechanism of a welfare state. So in India, social policy, if I talk about our subcontinent, Indian subcontinent, it is integrated into the welfare state through a framework of laws, schemes, and government process, and programs which focuses on addressing poverty, eliminating any kind of bringing about poverty reduction strategies, in strengthening the healthcare system, improving healthcare accessibility, providing welfare schemes and measures to cover health insurance and health issues of larger population, education opportunities, which is free and compulsory education up to the primary level. And in fact, the NEP 2020 has fabricated a different course, which a different curriculum structure, which gives ample opportunities to students, not only not only to talk about rote learning, but it is focusing on a holistic development of students. Then employment, which is there, employment generation activities are there. There are welfare schemes and programs which would uplift the marginalized communities or economically disadvantaged communities and societies. So we can say that India's welfare state is largely driven by a commitment to social justice and inclusivity, given its diverse population and varying levels of socioeconomic status and varying levels of socioeconomic development. And here we'll talk about that how the social policy is integrated into the welfare state and welfare ideology. When social policy emerged together with the concept of welfare state after the World War II, the members of society, they have basic needs such as education, social security, health measures, health services, and housing. So social policy, which tries to, or rather it focuses or it aimed to ensure that the welfare of the individuals should be taken through legislative regulations. There should be a regulatory body which would which would not only be a formal legitimate sanctity through through the channels of constitution, but it also would have certain welfare schemes and measures which would protect them, which would guide them, which would give them ample resources and opportunities, because social policy is affected by social development. There is when we talk about social policy or social development, social welfare, these are all interrelated concepts, in the sense they may have a different perspective and ideology, but they have a connectedness, connectivity to each other. Indirectly or directly, they correlates with each other. So it changes the basis, it changes based on the needs of individuals, the expectations of the individuals, and well-being of the individuals. So state make new regulations, based on their needs and aspirations, and it is possible to make separate regulations for those who are in need of protection, from social policies perspective, for very different sections like children, women, youth, elderly, minorities, so on and so forth, disabled, low families with low income, and many such more marginalized community. So it becomes evident that social policy, it's determined on the basis of redistribution. That is, the regulatory and the distributive and redistributive perspective of policies serves to ensure that everyone living in a society has social freedom and equal opportunities. Ensuring the welfare of each individual becomes the primary objective, or becomes extremely important on the part of the state and other organizations that are social policy practitioners. So in a way, the state and becomes obliged to provide welfare means and resources for the larger growth and development, not only of the society but of the individuals too, because human beings, they are the important asset, they constitute the social capital, they become human resources. So it becomes imperative that the state has to provide necessary precautionary, preventive and protection to the individuals, to the citizen of the country. So the social policy which is put in force by the state and other institutions, it affects the welfare of society directly, and a state's regulations regarding welfare need to be determined by analyzing these policies and the subject and basic principles related with social policies and social needs and social problems, equal rights and social justice, efficiency, equity, choice. All these things are included in the analysis, in the prescription of how social policies would be created, would be implemented, and what are the basic tenets and principles and values associated when you are talking about its implementation and through the mechanism of welfare state. If we look into deeply into the interconnectedness of social policy with welfare state, a well-functioning welfare state is important for the well-being of the population, and has valuable redistributive roles. They provide social investment in children's early lives and guard against social risk or any social crisis like unemployment or poverty. They have a potential to assist economic growth and to provide the infrastructure and support for human capital through the creation of healthy workforce. So generally, the more egalitarian states perform better on the range of well-being measures, and they remain a central pillar of the maintenance and improvement of the quality of life of people with disabilities associated with mental health conditions, and so on and so forth. When you talk about social objectives, when there is a relationship, when we want to establish a relationship with, or there is some kind of interconnectedness with social policy with welfare state in defining social objectives, how they are integrated in bringing about clear social objectives, establishment of entitlements and rights, funding mechanisms, adaptability and reform. Then promoting social inclusion and equality, preventing social risk, protect political and ideological influence. Now, when you talk about defining social objectives, social policies set the goals and values that shape the welfare state. For example, the policies which are centered around reducing poverty or promoting equality or providing social security, basis of how these resources are allocated and the kind of programs which are being established under the welfare state. So policies, they address how and what questions in social welfare. So defining who gets what type of assistance or who qualifies, and how programs should be funded and managed. Then when you talk about establishing entitlements and rights, it specifies, social policy specifies the rights and entitlements of the citizens, shaping the benefits which are being provided by the welfare state. This would include unemployment benefits or old age pension, disability support and other social insurance program, which that would aim to ensure seniors, to ensure and secure citizens' well-being and create a welfare part for them, welfare measures. This framework of rights and entitlements, prevents social policies from being arbitrary and establishes a baseline of social security. If you talk about the funding mechanisms, through social policies, actually government decides on the funding models that would sustain welfare programs. Welfare states often rely, the welfare states, they often rely on a mix of taxation, social insurance and public spending, which is being determined by policy decision makers. So policies addressing taxation or revenues or social contributions and budget allocations, they play a very significant and crucial role in ensuring that welfare programs are sustainable and capable of reaching all eligible populations. When you talk about adaptability and reform, social policies, they provides the basis for adapting welfare systems in response to changing economic conditions, demographic shifts, as well as social needs. For example, a population aging, aging population, policies may evolve to enhance or to increase their pension funding or support elderly care or institutional care for the elderly population. So this adaptability, allows the welfare state to continuously address emerging social challenges, issues which may be there in the society sooner or later. So it could be unemployment or it could be healthcare crisis, increased migration, the issues of refugees. So it tries to create and modify existing programs, bringing some review what policies are already there, creating, making it more flexible and approachable in terms of targets, in terms of achievable objects. When you talk about promoting social inclusion and equality, policies targeting social inclusion directly influence welfare programs by ensuring vulnerable or marginalized groups receiving support and some kind of assistance, or it could be social assistance and social assurances. For instance, policies would be promoting gender equality or support for minority groups, which would be integrated, or which would integrate welfare state programs to provide equitable access to services or to the larger population. So welfare states, they use social policies to create structures that reduce economic and social inequalities through progressive taxation, subsidized housing or universal healthcare program, aiming to level the playing, aiming to level the area or to bring about the smooth leveling of the groundwork for, or making a smooth groundwork for all the citizens. So it also tries to prevent social risk. When talking about the preventing social risk, many social policies are aimed at, tends to become more proactive, and they aim to prevent social risk, such as homelessness, poor health, or poverty. For example, if I say that policies which would promote affordable housing or accessible healthcare services to prevent individuals from falling into conditions that require welfare support. So, this preventive approach ensures that welfare states are not only reactive, that is supporting those who already need, but also active in reducing the likelihood of social distress in the first place. Then we talk about the political and ideological influence. The ideological framework of a country heavily influences its social policy mandate, and it shapes and talk about the extent of its welfare conditions and welfare resources. So, when you say that social democratic countries may emphasize more universal welfare policies, while liberal regimes might focus on targeted, mean tested programs. So, the welfare state actually reflects these political choices with the size and scope of social programs often mirroring the broader ideological commitment to social welfare embedded in the in social fabric in the society. Now, there are certain rights under welfare state, and the welfare state should provide these rights to the people, like its equality, equal opportunity, need, freedom, and rights. So, when we talk about equality, that is achieving equally underlies achieving equality equally underlies social policies. Resources needs to be distributed evenly, fairly, in a fair manner in order to achieve equality as well as equity. Equality has different different connotations, equal different types. It means equal outcome, equal opportunity, or equal treatment. When we talk about equal opportunity, it means that equal groups should be treated equally, and this equal opportunity needs to be given to people regardless of their sex or group or ethnicity or caste or religion. So all people must have the same opportunities in any such system, be it education system, be in healthcare, accessibility to healthcare services, higher education, so that they can avail maximum benefit and opportunities in the in the labor market, in economic pursuits. Need, when we talk about the need part of it, basic needs such as food, caring, housing, shelter, these are not limited, and it is not certain which need should be covered by the state. But nevertheless, if we talk about the basic need approach, the state is or can they have the responsibility to provide the basic means of food or shelter or clothing and affordable housing, so that minimum needs are being met. When we talk about freedom and rights, there are different types of rights. Civil rights, which says that means the absence of arbitrary arrest and detention, but having freedom to discuss any opinion. Social rights, which talks about social welfare and social security, right to education and right to health, right to practice and profess religion, and so forth. And particularly those who which are considered as a fundamental rights also. Then political rights include voting and joining any political parties, and the freedom to explain opinion in a democratic manner, the right to vote, the right to exercise, the rights which are being enshrined in the constitution. So all of these are provided by the welfare state and through the constitution, and the individuals who live in a society are bound to state through the bond of citizenship. So he has or she, they have the right to request the state to which she is a citizen to make policies which would pave the way to provide the individual a better a better platform, as well as would also protect the rights of that citizen. From this perspective, the citizenship concept plays a very significant role in determining the state obligation and the rights of the individual as a part of social policy fabric. Now, if I talk about the main goal of social policy is that everyone should be ensured protection, and they should live in harmony, far away from any conflicts. So the target becomes all the more prominent, and it tends to ensure social justice, social development, social balance, social integration, and social peace. Now, everyone in the society, as I have already mentioned, if you talk about social justice, everyone have equal rights in the face of equal risk, and in this way the inequalities and differences caused by economic chances are eliminated. So all the policies that ensure that everyone has fair opportunities with regard to income, taxes, wages, education, social security, they contribute to the development of social justice. Now, if you talk about ensuring social balance and social development, and bringing about social balance, it is possible if everyone in the society lives in an harmonious relationship. They understand, they create a camaraderie, they follow the norms and rules, the written and unwritten rules of the society. Therefore, there would be social differences, but it also there would be social cultural differences, but there is also an element of tolerance, and these differences are reduced through the mediums of education, knowledge, and insightful. Especially difference and inequalities with regard to opportunities of individuals living in different regions, which might cause any imbalances. So it is one of the main objectives of social policy practitioners to eliminate the differences regarding the development level, and to ensure that everyone benefits from the same social services. When we talk about social peace, it is also to integrate social peace is ensured through policies aimed at eliminating the factors that lead to the deterioration of the balance within the social structure. And especially in the capitalist society, the social difference created by the free market, it hindered the solidarity throughout the society. For the creation of the society through dominated by harmony, by reconciliation, policies should be implemented in order to eliminate the negative effects. When you talk about social integration, it refers to the minimization of political and economic factors that negatively affect the unity and solidarity in society. So education, culture, moral values are issues that affect social resolution in this sense. And the social, when we talk about social development also, social development caters to the change in the economic life, the development, the economic growth and development, the social development, which also aims at addressing societal issues and problems, eliminating to these issues, creating a more viable, conducive environment, and which talks about a drastic change in the social life of the individual. And social development is also related to human development and human development index, which although the human development had different connotations, but these are all concepts, ideology, which reflects how human being can grow and progress, keeping in mind their welfare and well-being. When we talk about achieving all these, it tends to bring about social democracy or democratic factors and principles which are being practiced in a nation. So it is possible to protect the fundamental rights and the freedom of individuals in a democratic order, with the legal order, in talking about democracy and freedom. So this goal of democracy also needs to be achieved in order to protect the rights and entitlement of the children, to effectively participate, to be actively engaged in societal functions, and become a responsible citizen. When we talk about integration of social policy in Indian welfare system, there are certain elements or there are certain key points which tends to actually integrate or bring about and a more transparent document in terms of how they would be how the integration would be done, like constitutional foundation, poverty alleviation program, social security and social schemes, education and skill development initiatives, healthcare and nutrition programs. So these are the mechanisms through which social policy functions in the welfare system. If you talk about the functionality part of it, the Indian Constitution, it lays down the foundation of a welfare state, especially through its directive principles of state policy, part 4. And these principles, non-justiciable, direct the state to promote welfare beyond by securing to promote welfare by securing social order which is based on justice, social, economic and political aspect. The key constitutional rights and principles push social policies toward free and compulsory towards a free and compulsory education opportunities, social securities, adequate means of livelihood during the welfare state objectives. Then poverty reduction is the cornerstone of India's welfare state, and policies have been, particularly social policies, have been targeting both rural as well as urban poverty through programs like Manrega and then Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana for housing and many more such programs which I had already discussed. So these programs or welfare schemes and measures, they are deeply rooted in the social policy ideology which aims at reducing income inequality, disparities, providing a more firm basic safety net for vulnerable populations, which in turn strengthen India's welfare framework. And when we talk about and social security and insurance schemes, they also pave ways. They create social policies in such a manner which they tend to expand social security for the unorganized sector, which makes up of India's large labor workforce. So there are certain schemes, welfare measures, again if I would like to name a few: Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, which aims to improve the financial inclusion; Atal Pension Yojana, which pension benefits for the working poor; health schemes such as Ayushman Bharat, then Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. They all provide certain basic amenities to vulnerable populations, low income families, with free accessibility to healthcare. So these policies, they are essential to the welfare state by addressing healthcare accessibility and financial protection for the vulnerable. Then if you look into the education and skill development initiatives, Indian social policies again prioritize education as a driver of social mobility and economic growth. The Right to Education Act, which mandates free and compulsory education, while skill development programs have equipped youth with market relevant skills. These initiatives embody social policies which aims at building human capital, human resources, reducing disparities or inequalities, discriminatory practices, violation, exploitation, which becomes a key component in the idea of welfare state, which provides equal opportunities to for all citizens. When you look into the healthcare and nutrition program, the policies which are created in the line of healthcare and nutrition, especially for women and children, like IRDP or ICDS, they provide essential services like food, education, healthcare for younger children. And so there had been a lot of welfare schemes and policies, and midday meal scheme was there in order to ensure or improving the educational outcome, educational status, as well as nutritional of the girl child or nutritional status of any child. So then there's an empowerment of women and marginalized groups. Policies which are created in order to provide a protection or which emphasizes the support for marginalized groups. There are schemes for such vulnerable groups, the women and marginalized, which provides like your national social assistance program, then schemes such as Stand Up India, which promotes entrepreneurship among women, and there are pension schemes for the the elderly, for the widows, people with disabilities. These policies, they actually integrate with the welfare objectives by aiming to bridge any social inequalities and empower historically disadvantaged communities, making more inclusive. So then there is rural and agricultural development schemes and programs which provides certain safety nets to the farmers. It improves irrigation infrastructure, supporting farmer welfare, and these policies, they ensure rural agricultural welfare, which remains a priority area. So it aims at reducing any rural, insecurities, risk involved in agricultural farming. It reduces rural poverty as well as indebtedness. And then there is subsidies and public distribution system. India's welfare state integrates social policy with food and fuel subsidies to ensure basic necessities and which are affordable. So the public distribution system, which provides subsidized grain to low income families. There are schemes, Ujjwala Yojana schemes, and where LPG connections to rural households are given, and these subsidies, underpinned by social policies, create a safety net to combat hunger and improve living standards, especially in times of economic distress. And then there is decentralization and grassroots participations through the policies which promote decentralization governance, such as the Panchayati Raj system and in the rural areas, and the municipalities in the urban areas. So India's welfare state aims for grassroots level involvement in social welfare programs, which are being designed to reflect the local needs, making the welfare state more adaptable and effective. This decentralized approach, guided by social policy, it strengthens the reach and relevance of welfare programs by involving local communities, by involving local communities in planning and the implementation level. So the recent, or I can say the recent social policy phenomena, they have an increasing accessibility to welfare through digital tools also, like Aadhaar identification system, which helps in streamlining the delivery of benefits. So in a nutshell, we can say that India's welfare state reflects a diverse set of social policies which aims at reducing inequality, supporting economic participation, ensuring access to basic necessities for all its citizens. By integrating these policies into the welfare framework, India continually adapts in its social welfare system to address evolving challenges and provide more effective, inclusive support. Future of welfare state and social policy. The expectations that welfare state provides welfare are increasing more and more, and the approaches for providing welfare are different. Some states may adopt liberal approaches, some states adopt corporatist, and some other adopt universal approaches. And in fact, the welfare state changes based on the social, economic, cultural and demographic structure of the states. Especially in 2008 financial crisis, welfare state had a view that a system in which the main player is the state is not sufficient for economic growth, and the increasing unemployment is an obstacle for the welfare state growth. Moreover, the population of many states is getting older and the demographic structure is changing. Labor markets need to be supported, new jobs needs to be created, and employment needs to be increased. Therefore, state determined their policy. And although many arguments had been raised in discussion on the future of the welfare state, it is possible to say that the rightist and the leftist views are more dominant. Through the rightist, the right view argues that the welfare state can overcome the crisis only by shifting to neoliberal policies. They are of this opinion, and they also argue that the obligatory change that took place in the Industrial Revolution is also valid for the information age, which emerged in the last quarter of the 20th century, and that social policies need to be developed by the supranational organizations after the change of welfare state. The legitimacy of welfare states was questioned by both the new right and the new left. The new left criticized the state roles was too weak compared to the markets, and reformulation of the state's role in societal development was needed. The new right is focused on the role of bureaucracy and pressure groups, and according to their opinion, society's welfare is more important than bureaucracy and pressure groups' interests. So globalization has also been cited as globalization, privatization has been cited as a reason for the transformation of the welfare state and social policies, its influence with the participation with the international organizations such as World Bank or World Health Organization and International Monetary Fund. For the leftists, they argue that welfare states have the ability to adapt themselves, changing conditions, and therefore they can overcome the crisis through reforms and restructuring. It has been suggested that the neo-Keynesian approaches should be adopted instead of the neoliberal approach in the reform process. As an alternative to these views, neoliberals and conservatives have made new initiatives under the name of the New Right, and the Social Democrats and Social Liberals have made new initiatives under the name the Third Way. And if I talk about, nation states should implement policies in economic and social spheres which is not only based on external process but based on internal dynamics. As stated earlier, although they have similar features, each country has a different applications for social protection. They have their own means, they have their own channels. The main important thing is to determine the impact of the change on demographic and cultural structure of the countries and make interventions appropriately or properly. Welfare state are still developing, and states are in search for better work and life conditions. They want to have social security systems which cover social risk, and from this perspective it is possible to say that there is not a real crisis in welfare states, but there are efforts are there to remove the obstacles before the economic growth. Welfare state needs to make regulations to decrease unemployment rates, taxes and public expenditures because of the decline in economic growth. There seem to be a tendency for narrowing in social policies because the proportion of social expenditure in public expenditure is high. Reform initiatives needs to be taken to reduce the welfare crisis in the welfare states, which have led to giving more importance to active social protection, understanding in social policy implementations. So these practices which were there. So with the impact of reform implementations on social expenditure, when it is evaluated, it is seen that the poverty amongst children or poverty in general or some kind of family aid or low income group, they need to be protected, they need to be safeguarded. So it becomes impossible, so it is possible to say that increase of passive expenditure due to the aging population constitute the or any such obstacles before realization of active. It is obvious that the development show that that view the social rights, freedoms and ideological thoughts are not sufficient to achieve economic growth. It is possible to say that welfare state having this view will follow more impartial policies about making social expenditure in future years. Right now, I would like to conclude by saying few things that the social policy and the social welfare are handled with their goals, scopes, types and problems from the historical development and up to date. Social policy, as already been discussed, is a set of measures developed to protect workers against the dangers arising as a result of industrialization in parallel to historical development. After the Industrial Revolution, its emergence in this way had caused the social policies to be defined in a narrow sense. And after World War II, the narrow perspective on social policy began to change. The reason for this change was the fact that the measures to protect the interests of the working class were not sufficient to solve all the social problems. Therefore, it was concluded that social policy should be extended to cover all segments of the society. And in the broader sense, social policy is a set of measures which has been taken to ensure that all segments of the society live in peace and harmony, and to prevent any kind of unemployment, to improve working conditions, to provide a minimum wage, to provide social security and benefits, to eliminate injustice in income distribution, and to ensure social justice. So, social policy refers to all policies that ensure the welfare of the state and individuals, and the dynamic practice that constantly change. Welfare state, as the concept of welfare state again says that it is possible to say that it is a kind of state in which consciously organized public power is used to reduce the role of market forces. So, shifting from a liberal model to Keynesian model of welfare states adopted a more interventionist character from economic, social and legal points of view. And dating back to 1880s, the welfare state continued to strengthen until the mid 1970s due to the increased unemployment and spread of poverty in all countries. Nevertheless, social policy emerged as a result of failure of the social problems created by the liberal economy approach, was replaced with the concept of welfare state after the adoption of social security practices, which was introduced by Bismarck in Germany. So, the social state developed policies not only in the areas of health, education, social security, distribution of income and housing, but also sought solutions to environmental and urban problems in order to ensure welfare. The welfare state varies from country to country according to the level of welfare they have, and it is possible to say that welfare state, which was developed to eliminate the deficiencies of the liberal and socialist understanding in welfare, is a new form of liberal model. In this sense, it acts with an interventionist approach to solve the problems that may arise in the field of social policy. And lastly, I would like to say that in today's world, the concept of welfare state is transforming, and economic pressures created by globalization, privatization, and other such economic forces, technological advancements, they have a very narrow tendency. They have a very tendency to narrow down social policies based on the fact that the reason for the transformation in the welfare state is not just globalization, but each state should develop policies and tools that are the most appropriate for its social structure to adapt it to the transformation process. Welfare state has an active role on social policies, and welfare states are resistant to the economic negativities experienced. So, there are certain strategies to be established in a way which would determine which would determine the course or the discourse of social policies navigating through the welfare state. And these are few points which and with these points I would like to end today's lecture. So, not deviating from the goal of achieving ultimate welfare in the transferring of services to the private sector and preserving the regulatory descriptive character of the state. So, this is the last few points which actually would give, or rather would conclude or give a gist at how social policies, in spite of this transformation due to economic pressures, globalization, technological advancement, changing economic, socio-economic structure of the society, these important strategies can be taken up. So, secondly, encouraging the private sector with regard to distribution of social services, making use of increasing of voluntary organizations and local governments with regard to the provision of social services, restructuring to reduce expenditures other than social assistance expenditures, attaching importance to giving childcare money to families and important to young people's vocational education considering the obstacle caused by the demographic structure, reducing the burden of unemployment in public social spending by producing solutions that can prevent the increasing and deepening unemployment in the world, reducing the inflation and tax, not considering decreasing the spending on social welfare as a tool for economic growth, and determining the economic strategies on this basis. And lastly, utilizing the development on a global scale in favor of social welfare state and adopting strategies in line with the positive effects of globalization and making cooperation with international and supranational organizations in this process. Thank you everyone. With this, I end my today's lecture.